Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. I am continuing my holiday card painting, and I think I'll be painting about 10 of the ornaments today. So I'll show you how I created those. Hi, RJ. I'm taking my little jars from my Jam Advent calendar, and I'm going to take a pink. This is Cosmos from KMS. It doesn't have to be perfect, but adding enough around the rim so that when I stamp it, I have an idea of where my circle is going to be. And that is good enough as a guide. I'm going to try and leave a little bit of white space as a highlight. Hi, Abs. Glad to hear it. What are you going to be painting for your holiday cards? So I've got that one pink, I think pink and blue would look good together. So I'm going to use Snow Globe as my second color. We'll see if it's a good choice. You've done a snowman, some ornaments, and a tree, but your next one might be a wreath. I painted a bunch of these wreaths. Really cute, easy one, eucalyptus, pine, and some berries. I did a bunch of those, and I'm really happy with how those turned out. The trees were definitely one of my favorites, though. So this one, I think I'm going to add a little bit of a secondary color to it. It's a little bit too gray for my liking, which is perfectly good ornament color, but a snowman, yes, I've painted a snowman. I don't think I have him right next to me. I can dig him up. I've done a couple of them, mostly in metallics. Okay, I want to add a little bit of a secondary color here while it's still wet. And then I used Ultimate Gray for the little connection ornament hanger. So I'm going to do the same thing for these. And I like the idea of one of them being a bow, one of them being a little bit more simple, just to have something different to look at. RJ, do you have your eye on a particular wreath to claim as your own? I like how that one turned out. Right, another two colors. I'll do a different pink. Not quite as light I'll use acorn right here. This is a pretty good ornament color. And a little bit darker around this side. Hopefully it will do the same sort of color bleed as the previous one. Okay, this one I think I might have up against a gold ornament. This is looking very festive. I've got golden leaves as part of this palette, and that's a really nice gold. One of my favorites. Okay, let's see how this one goes. There we go. Add a little bit more on the bottom. And then for the little ornament ties, trying to think if I want to switch it up, I will use fuzzy socks. Let's see how that goes. It's the same palette, so I know these colors are going to work well together. They're all KMS metallics, handmade watercolors. And a little something different for this one. I brought over my micron pens in case I wanted to do a little watercolor and ink, but so far I'm liking the complete metallic look. I really like this combination. This one is very festive. I think I'm going to do a few more red and gold combinations, different golds, different reds. And this one's already dry, so I feel comfortable stacking them. I pulled out this combo as well from last year's advent calendar. I thought these would be pretty, so I will eventually use them. Next red, I think, is going to be peppermint mocha. And I think fireside would look really pretty blended into that. So I'm going to try those as a combo. Similar to acorn, but without that flash of pink. It's another pretty KMS metallic. Also a very festive option. I don't know if it lives up to its name, peppermint mocha. Fireside does live up to its name because I use that to make my little candle flames for my Hanukkah card. So I know that's going to be really beautiful and dramatic. It's actually one of the colors that I would totally wear as a nail polish. Okay, here we go with fireside. Just encouraging a little bleeding into the peppermint mocha. Hannah, I will not claim any of the praise for that technique. It is such a time saver, though. It's great for starting off mini wreaths, or if you use the big jar, big wreath. Super fun. So if you use the tip, I hope it helps. Spread the knowledge. It works really well for the loose style because it's okay, the edges are not completely perfect. I actually just saw it done with, I think it was gold acrylic. And so it was a big, thick gold ring and then watercolor in the middle. That was pretty cool. I don't remember whose feed I saw that on. That was over on Instagram this morning that I saw it. I was like, that is clever. I don't have gold acrylic, but like gouache or something a little bit thicker. That would be really cool. So I'm going to stick with my little bows and simple adornments. Really am liking this combination. Hannah, do you have any watercolor tricks that you really like to use? Can you think of any? Look at fireside. It's just so pretty. Every combination I love. Okay. do a different one. What are some of our favorite colors? Should I do... Gosh, there's so many canvas options. Something with green. What do we want to pair up with green? I know Santa's Helpers is a fun metallic. Okay, watercolor newbie. I'm on year 3 of being a watercolor newbie myself. Okay, for this one, green and gold go together. Green and pink. Such a relaxing hobby. I totally agree with you. Okay. Here we go. Green, Santa's Helpers. Any suggestion of what color I pair with my green ornament? Something purple? Ooh. Okay, I will actually choose one of my favorite purples. It's called Confetti. It's a sort of light purple. Let me grab from my Essentials palette. Hannah, I was also thinking gold. I could do 2. So this is Confetti. I'll do another green combo, because green and gold is what I was initially thinking too. This one takes a little bit of time to make up, but it's worth it. Here we go. Confetti. And yeah, I can see if it was a dark purple Halloween, but this is like a lilac. You'll see. It's mostly just purple glitter. Allie, watercolor newbie here, planning to give some as gifts for Christmas. Some of your own watercolor? That's awesome. That Essentials palette, Hannah, I can show you all the colors swatched out if you'd like. Those are all of my favorite KMS colors all in one place. So I don't know that I think of Halloween immediately when I see that. Just non-traditional Christmas colors. I think they're just fun. Show me after Christmas. Well, it's sold out until January anyway. So really it's just a teaser. Let me put the bow on this one. Caitlin says she loves this. I'm so happy you do. Okay. Well, that one is drying. Let me quickly show you that Essentials palette. These are the colors that I chose as my favorites. Peaches and Cream, Hayride, that's the confetti I just used. Autumn Air, look at that gold, that's 3CPO, Chrome, and those matte colors. You can see most of those together in a little bouquet that I painted. So I will be painting with that more in January. When it gets restocked. Magic and Mayhem. My 6-year-old is enchanted with your live. Ask your 6-year-old what their favorite colors are. Give me 2. I'll see if I can make a combination happen. All right, we said gold and green next, so I'm going to use a different green. Garland is one of my favorite metallic greens from KMS. And I guess I'll have to use 3CPO, since I said that was one of my essentials. What's my favorite holiday? It actually is Halloween. A really light blue and purple. Well, I can do that. That'll be coming up next. This one, when it's dilute, is kind of hard to see how pretty it is. I have to kind of let it dry as well. So let me show you on an angle. You can already see the top where it's drying. It's a really pretty green there. And then C3PO is going to be very dramatic next to that. Melody. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. That's definitely going to be the best gift that I'm getting this year. I'm so excited for putting that right in the middle of my bookcase. And my neighbor already asked me which book, because I told her a little bit about what was going on. So we're going to get the whole community over here reading that book for Christmas. It's The Bucket List, Melody Davis. If you get it, I think you'll see why, if you know my art. Do you sell these paints? Caitlin, actually, these paints are from a young woman, small business owner, also named Caitlin. They're KMS metallics that I'm using right now, but her mattes are just as pretty. Handmade paints. Oof. They're one of my favorites to paint with. I also love boulder colors. Those are paints made from plants and food waste. I'll always recommend both of them if you're new to handmade paints. Great quality, easy to use. How would you suggest I wrap these? The ones I've done are 5x7. I like wrapping them in tissue paper. That's just how I've done things in the past. You can decide if you want frame or no frame. I've done a few gifts where I've put them in a frame first. It just depends. Sometimes you kind of know what their color scheme is at home, of where they might be putting it. So, up to you. Okay, so this one you have to really see them in the light. Oh, look at that. There we go. And that's a good way to show off that green. And then a little bit more C3PO. For the bow. Okay, really light blue and purple coming up. Thinking about which purple. I like Aster. That might be a good one for this. And blue. Hannah, you like to get wire edge ribbons, fake florals, and hot glue. Make a bunch of bows and then wrap in a plainer paper. Oh, and then that really makes it pop, right? That sounds really pretty. Purple and blue coming up. This blue is called Icy and Blue. From the KMS watercolor advent calendar last year. That's where I got this one from. That almost looks like a little bubble. Just soften up some of those edges there. Okay, purple, I think is going to be Aster. Silver or gold for our little decorations. Silver might look good because there's a micro silver in the blue, but either would work. Silver, good choice. So the reason I'm making so many of the same design, it's because these are going to be going to my students. Oh, of course, yes. Hannah, you get the next one. It's a lovely Cinderella blue. Wow, she knows her blues because that is the perfect description. Are we going to do silver or gold with our Cinderella blue? Yes, if you just joined, that was a mini jam jar, and I used that to put the watercolor as a sort of stamp. So it's not perfectly even along the edge. I just use it as a sort of guide. And it's perfect for loose watercolor because, you know, it's not going to be perfectly even circle, but it's a quick hack there. So are we doing silver or gold magic and mayhem? While we decide that. Oh, silver. Making it easy for me. Okay, I'm actually going to break out my favorite silver for this. This is called Chrome. It made its way onto my Essentials palette. That's how much I love it. So that's Chrome next to C3PO. It is like liquid metal. If you're old enough, it's like the Terminator 2 liquid metal. Okay. Let's do our little bow here. And a bit thicker on the edges. Do you sign your cards? Since these are going to be for my students, I'll just write Miss Palacios. And 2023, I haven't actually gotten to that part yet. I was going to do it when they're all done. And then do it all at once. Just to make it easy on myself. There we go. There we go. Now you can see. Silver looks so good with these colors. I agree, Caitlin. Okay. I have 4 more pre-cut. Let's see what else I've got here. An art teacher. I'm actually a chemistry teacher. It always gets a big shock out of people. Winter Night, maybe even Jack Frost in there. I want to do a couple of silvery ones and then a stunner like North Pole. do a nice winter wonderland combo. I'll start with North Pole. Alice, chemists make great artists. They also make great paints, great colors in general. Literally. You teach science too, including chem. That's awesome. I am also an environmental science teacher, but that's kind of new. I went to school for chemistry. When I was in grad school, I was studying physical chemistry. Lots of lasers and P-chem for me. Oh, 7 to 12 science, yeah. Alice, when is your winter break? Do you work the whole week next week? Magic and Mayhem. I'm so glad that you're here for it. I would typically just be doing this on my own anyway, and it's always more fun to paint with people. So I'm glad you're enjoying. And thank you, Jen and Julian. Friday was your last day, Alice? Oh, jealous. I have to go until Friday, but Friday is a half day, so could be worse. So Friday will be our fun day. What kind of brushes do you use, Mary? I mostly use Princeton Neptune 8 if I'm painting flowers, or if I'm painting something on the smaller scale like these, all of these little cards that I made up there. They're all with my Princeton round 4. If I'm painting flowers, I'll also grab my petals brush from Princeton. They're just my go-to, my favorites, the ones that I rely on. I have a few others, but I don't gravitate towards them. And Hannah, rough subject, how do you teach about the environment? Yeah, when you get to the climate change section or human impacts on the environment, it can be a little distressing, maybe eye-opening. So there's a focus on solutions. There's a solutions, like what we're currently doing, what we hope to do. So there's always a little note of positivity in there somewhere. It is helpful for making it engaging, I will say. And you want to get a couple of nice brushes and can't decide. Well, also it would depend on what size you prefer painting, right? I have a oval wash brush from the Silver Company. I love it for painting big fluffy flowers. I'm not normally one to paint on a big scale, but it's always fun when painting. That's like my special occasion brush, I guess, when I know I want to paint something in particular and let loose. So I like that one for that. All my favorites, favorite paper, favorite brushes, all of that is linked in my Amazon favorites. And Alice, love how you outline your circles. Thanks. For this size then, yeah, 4 is a big brush, I guess, for details. It's what I'm comfortable using, but there are artists who like to go even smaller, size 0 and things like that. It's just whatever you're comfortable with. I like the 2 metallic blues next to each other. I think that's a fun one. And thank you, Mary. For this one, I'll add a little metallic snow globe, something that's a little bit darker and eye-catching. That's one, and two. Oops, a little bit of a smear from my hand, but I'm just gonna basically erase it right there. I am actually making cards for my students. So just quick hand-painted holiday cards. You can see all of the ornaments that I've been working on today. I have a stack of trees that I painted live earlier in the week. So same KMS metallics, all different colors in here. Again, same brush, round 4 for them. And then in a similar way, I started these wreaths with the jam jar as a circle stamp. How do you make the trees or the snowflake? I actually uploaded the video live replay to my YouTube channel, so the whole thing is available. I have a couple extra right here if you want me to just do one of each. I could do that. I love painting the trees, so I wouldn't mind doing another one. The wreath, oh yeah, I did a couple wreath styles and then I found my favorite. The paper, I got this question earlier and I forgot my answer because it's this brand, it's got 50 of these. I cut them in half, so this is the actual size. 50 of them in a pack, and then I cut them in half, so it's a little bit smaller for these little personal cards for my students. I know it's in my Amazon favorites. I can't remember, so I'm sorry, I don't have it off the top of my head. I did paint one extra one that was a request. I had a paint here called Holly, and I had to use that to paint a little holly and leaf combo. Yeah, I will paint the others. And then will you write on the back or insert these along with a separate note? Personally, I'm just gonna write Miss Palacios and the year. That's just my little quick greeting that I'm gonna do. If I had an infinite amount of time, maybe a sweet note. I am a teacher who's also grading labs and making tests and stuff, so this is what I can realistically do. I hope it's still heartfelt because I did enjoy painting each of them, and I'm trying to think of my students as I do it. So let me start working on the tree as I try and answer some other questions. Let's see. Deciding on which color. Again, so many colors to choose from. Let me just take a quick peek at what I had already and see what I want to do. That is something that you could easily see, maybe something like that. I did a whole bunch of gold comparisons with these. Yeah. We'll do something kind of on the blue side. Okay. This was my little inspiration for the tree. It's an ornament my mom had on our tree. So that's kind of the shape I was going for in my mind. Not 100% accurate, but good enough. Okay, so blue, I'm gonna go for space blue. This might have been one of the earlier ones I painted with this, but I don't have a lot of repeat colors, so I'm fine if there happens to be two space blue trees out there. Could I do less Christmassy? I went for a wreath and a snowflake. Snowflakes, trying to keep it kind of evenly distributed. Nowhere am I going to write Merry Christmas. It's a personal thing just for me. I am trying to be inclusive by choosing these designs. A tree is not a Christmas tree, right? It's just a tree. I actually painted a bunch of metallic trees for a Hanukkah card last year by request. So I try. Do you have other suggestions that I could think about for next year? What would you want to see? As for the tree, as you can see, mostly these little downstrokes with my round 4, very thin strokes. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Mary. And then at some point, I kind of just go a little bit more horizontal with a few short branches. And then downwards. So filling in until it feels like a right shape for me. A little bit of balance to it. In my mind, I have the overall triangle shape that I'm trying to reach at the end. A goat is a Yule symbol that was borrowed by Christmas. How do I feel about painting animals? I have done a few in the past, but mostly birds. Maybe my next year. Can't please everyone, I guess. I still am open to other ideas. I feel like that would be a better conversation, but anyway. Here just to spread some watercolor love. I know, Hannah, I know. I have a watercolor challenge that I am doing over on Instagram with Traces of Water. We've got 25 different prompts. Some are very Christmas themed and some are woodland animal. So if you want to see other ideas, you could check that out. Maybe find something that you like there. Actually, Grinch was one of the themes, so I should do more of those, apparently. So I hope you liked seeing that tree. It's my style of tree. A candle. Yes, I've actually painted a candle. That was last year, though, with a little pine, little pine cone. That was a really good one. So maybe that will come back next year. So that was tree. I'll do another one of the wreaths. For that one, I actually mixed, I think it was, here it is, a blue and a green, and then use that to stamp my guide, my circle. So let me do that one. So this green is Deck the Halls, and the blue, Christmas Day. It's been a few days since I painted those wreaths, but I still kind of remember my formula. I took a mostly wet brush, washing off most of this green, and then by pressing down with the four, made some fat leaves, kind of eucalyptus-like. And Mary, not a dumb question, I cut my paper with a paper cutter, just for myself to get this smaller piece of paper. But you can see it's not a clean cut. You can deck the edges yourself. They're, yeah, real easy ways to do that now, if you like seeing it that way. You can get cleaner cuts, exactly, with a better, why am I not thinking, like razor? I've used mine for over 2 years, so mine's getting dull. But I like the rough cut myself. I do like the rough edges. I have deckled paper somewhere, but for me, this is just, again, a little piece from me to my students, a little piece of art. Many of them have found my Instagram page and stuff, so they know I like painting, and I'll tell them that I'm painting something specific over the weekend if I am, or something like that. So this won't be a complete surprise to them. Anyway, so I have here some that are mostly watery, some that are a little bit more saturated with paint, all the way around. And Mary, scrap paper, it's a good way to recycle it for sure. Have I received handmade gifts? As a teacher from students, have I received handmade gifts? It's mostly things like brownies or cookies that maybe they've made with their parents, or sometimes the parents are really good at baking, and I always appreciate those gifts. Pine is up next, so basically the same combination of those two colors, a little bit more on the blue side. If I'm really thinking of the gifts now, it's a letter, something that my students write that I keep longer than anything else, something that I will go back to. Anything that they say about my class, helping them, anything memorable. And I don't teach art, I teach chemistry and environmental science, but I do have a watercolor club now. To make these pines, I'm using my 4 again, and I am pulling some thin lines towards this center that I'm seeing here on both sides. I can go back and forth. And I'm staggering where I'm putting them, but they're all around the center for the most part, behind some of the light eucalyptus. And then the last element is going to be some metallic berry that I'm going to add. So I think I'm going to add some silver to this one. I have to go back and add a little bit more of that blue-green mixture. And I'm really just filling the gaps between the leaves that I see. I think the loose style really works well with this. I don't have to think too hard about connecting these lines and really making it make sense. How long have I been live? I think less than an hour, but I have no idea at this time. I think it was almost 1:30, around 1:30 when I went live, so almost an hour. I painted probably 10 or more of the ornaments up there, and then one of the trees, so that makes sense. It's about an hour. Oh my gosh, Mackenzie, yes. We speak the same language about materials that don't break the bank, because I go through lots of supplies. I paint almost every day. For paper, I have a couple of brands that are budget friendly. And Ray, could you paint a bonus card that isn't one of these that we haven't seen? Love your designs. Okay. Maybe a landscape? Yes. So for paper, there are a few. I think it's Mujahana. I don't know how to pronounce it. Oh, berries, sorry. It's linked in my Amazon favorites. About 20 sheets of paper for around $7 US. It's got a good texture to it. It's not 100% cotton, but it works pretty well for an everyday paper that you don't feel bad about using. I like Bao paper for the nice paper that you do think about for your special projects, but it's not the price tag of an Arches paper. Where did you get the paints? The paints are handmade paints from KMS Watercolor. Speaking of not breaking the bank, she's got little sampler sets like this, and she's got a few mystery sets where you don't know what the colors are, but you can ask for all metallics or all mattes, and that way it's a little bit of a discount, but you still get paint that you'll probably end up loving. Okay, so that's this quick little wreath here. Maybe not so quick because I'm talking and a little bit distracted. Okay, so a design that we haven't seen yet. Okay. Moving things around so I have a little bit more room, and I'm going to go for my Essentials palette. Okay. How many students do I have? Around 60 chemistry students. So between all of the designs, I have right around 60. And then 50 environmental students. Okay. All right, I have an idea. LMZ Ski. You want to go check out my link tree, thank you, but you keep painting and I don't want to miss. Okay, well, apparently this is going to be the grand finale then. Mary's obsessed with these metallic paints. So am I, but I'm going to show you the matte colors as well. Okay. No pressure or anything, right? A design that you haven't seen before. I said landscape, so I'm going to have to do some type of forest green with chrome in there. Is it okay if I've painted the elements before? Like I've done some trees with you before. And you know florals are my favorite thing. How about, oh, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing now. Okay. Let's do this. Not even going to tell you. You're just going to have to guess and find out. I'll use Sleigh Ride right here. Could you imagine me attempting a goat for the first time live? No. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Oh, this, if we're gonna go animal, this is probably a starfish, right? Yes, Mackenzie, but I haven't painted one this year with you, so this is a first. I did a super duper loose one in a bouquet, but it wasn't like a centerpiece, so. Beach Christmas? I probably could. It's gonna look better with gold, so don't worry. Oh, Mary. Maybe this is in fact something totally different. Or no, it's exactly what I want to paint right now, so that's too bad. Oh, Xena has decided, oh, hello. My dog wants my attention. Okay. She just wanted to say hi. She's leaving me alone now. Puppy, yes. She is a big puppy. It's on the move again. Here we go. Trying to tuck it. There. Got to get into some greenery now. Winter pine for that. It was for a house by the beach and turned out super cute. Ooh, that sounds lovely. What did I paint? Leaves, wildflowers, and something else, and some test tubes for a beach house, but it was for a science teacher, so. I'm pretty sure that's the only paintings of mine that's in a beach house somewhere. Do one more leaf. And then we'll get some metallics in here. Thank you, Eliza. Let's see, a little pine. Speaking of winter pine, does it make complete sense? No, that's okay. This is my third year painting with watercolors, and I wouldn't say it came naturally. I had to practice. I still think I could use more practice, so it's an ongoing thing. The learning doesn't stop. And I really only paint for a few minutes a day. YouTube, I didn't take any in-person classes. YouTube. Show Me Your Florals was the first time I picked up a paintbrush. It was a few days of an online workshop, and I absolutely fell in love with it. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to use Golden Leaves as my gold. Mary, you watch YouTube videos a lot. Oh, there's so many great artists over there on YouTube. Emma LaFave was one of the first that I would start painting along with. Jenna Rainey. They were my favorites early on. Let's get some gold in here. I'm trying to think about which ones I'd like to have a pop of gold. So this one, we'll get some detail. You probably can't really see. There it is. And I do sell my work now, but it's mostly people that are watching on TikTok that ask if they could buy something. Some coworkers, friends, that kind of thing. Thank you, Deborah. I appreciate that. I would love to, Hannah, but I'd have to get prints of my cards done, and I'm not quite at that stage where I want to do all of that work. One day, I'll get that done. Florals really are my favorite thing to paint, though. Okay. A little bit of gold in the center, too. Lighten up that area. All right, how do we feel about that for a quick, on-the-spot paint something that I've not painted before that still works as a little card? Oh yeah, you're right, Hannah. Grab some cardstock, glue your little paintings on there. I've seen that done, and it is something that I've thought of before. Right, thank you. So thank you for reminding me of that. Yes, I can keep painting my little originals and then pop them on top of a card. I do like Strathmore watercolor cards when I'm painting cards for my mom, or it's going to be Strathmore cards for me. They hold up well. $5 for some cards at a craft show. Yeah, that is a good price for a hand-painted card. Yes, and then they're more expensive, Hannah, because you have to account for envelopes and plastic sleeves. The envelopes come with Strathmore cards, but yes, little sleeve, and then you have to make it look good, right? You have to put the little sticker on it, and maybe even little business cards that I'd have to get to remind them Palacios paints. Yes, small businesses have all those little expenses. I don't know how you do it. Okay, let's see. Something else. I could paint a larger card, ones that I have not pre-cut. I have some more of these. Let me show you some other designs that I've done, and we'll see which one we want on a bigger scale. Okay. So we've seen snowflakes before. Those are more metallic snowflakes, KMS. We've seen that. We've done ornaments. That one's done. Ugly sweater. Not so ugly. I'd wear that one. This is the same paper, just not cut in half, by the way. Tracy, your mom sells cards and prints of her artwork and does very well. That's awesome. Congrats to your mom. This took a long time. It was for the ice skate prompt of Traces with Palacios. Probably never going to repeat that one. Mittens, I definitely painted it this way. That would make a really good card, I think. Yeah, that was fun to make. Watched a YouTube video for this one. Do not claim the design to be my own. It was really fun. I did make the little string of lights gold instead of black. This took way too much time. I do not want to do this with you. You can watch a YouTube video for that one. This one was totally mine. I like him. Look at that. Little gold on the eyes, beak, and feet. Gold presents. Most of the matte colors here, no, all of the matte colors here are from Aloha Watercolors. That was a fun one. And this one, I actually did paint live here, this little mistletoe wreath. These two colors are in my Essentials palette. That is vanilla and forest green. I think this would be a really good card as well. A little bit of gold detail. Super fun. This one was very popular over on Instagram. Who doesn't love the Grinch? And the metallic there is called Santa's Helper. Mackenzie, the mittens would be so cute with light red and green and golds maybe. That would be nice. This is that snowman that RJ was asking for at the beginning of the live. Mostly metallic snowman. This one took forever, but very proud of the fireplace there. I saw Harriet de Winton's tutorial for the fire, so I watched that first to kind of figure out what I was supposed to do there. The bricks are, of course, something that could be improved, but that was my first time, and I'm still proud of it. And thank you, Mary. It was. The wreath at the top and the garland was the easiest part. if I had a huge amount of time, I would do that one with you. Again, my favorite is always florals. So pine cones, I know, is something that's often asked for tutorial-wise. So maybe we could do something with a pine cone. This is still one of my favorites. That was day one of the challenge. And Spud, you're right, bricks aren't perfect ever. It's true. Let's see. Again, speaking of florals, this winter rose, one of my favorites. Maybe I could do something in a jar. Nikki by the Sea. That's an option there. Some more winter florals. More winter florals. You're amazing, crazy. It's only been a few years, but I have practiced nearly every day, so there are definitely paintings that are not amazing. This one I painted live with Aduma. She's the lavish brush over on Instagram. This design was hers. She made this little gingerbread house, and we painted this. The whole replay is on YouTube. It was so much fun to do this one with her. And she and I are going to paint a sleigh probably sometime this week over on Instagram. So if you'd like to see something like that, we'll do that. I think we're going to do something in a jar because this was actually easier than it seems. This was a very fun one to do. So we can do something like that together now. YouTube, my YouTube has a replay. On Instagram, you can find her at the Lavish Brush. Let me throw it into the comments here. Her name is Aduma, and she is an incredible artist. Give her a follow if you're over on Instagram. She's done a series of incredible ornaments, and if you scroll back, you'll see amazing birds that she painted. Okay, let's do a jar like this. You would think I'd have the name of this paper, but there is really nothing that it came in. 50 sheets, watercolor, and no brand. So put that up there. You can use almost the same colors for my jar here. These are the Aloha watercolors that I painted that jar with. Okay. We'll get some chrome in this one as well. Okay. Trying to think of a light sketch, if I even have a pencil around here. Sorry if I knocked into the camera. Okay, light sketch. That'll be the top of the jar. Kind of something like that. There's really not much of a sketch going on because I want it to be done mostly with the watercolor. And my sketching skills are not good either, so you're not missing much. kind of can see where I have my base. That's good enough. All right, so I know that I went with my dark, bold blue color along the edges. This is Moon Forest by Aloha Watercolor. And I'm gonna do a couple of lines that are rough and not connected. And so that's kind of the top of the glass there. Again, kind of mapping out one side and start filling in with a little watery mix of that color. I want to leave some highlight so it's not all going to connect to the side. And then I can always add in more saturated color. And for the center of that, I had a tree. Maybe I want to add a snowman this time. So I want it a little bit lighter near my center object. I'm gonna go for snowman. I'm gonna kind of have him plotted out. I'll use some metallic. And this will be one part of him. A little bit smaller of the circle here. And then one more. I think I should kind of get my hat in there. Trying to think of where I have my nearest dark gray. Kind of perfect for a snowman, right? This is lump of coal. But I'm going to use smoky gray for his hat. And definitely the background is kind of drying up at this point, but I'm going to layer anyway, so I'm fine with that. To focus on my snowman. Okay, back to my background. It's a pretty staining color, this moon forest, but I want it dark around him anyway, so I'm gonna tap in some more. have to do the same thing to the other side where I get close to the edge, create a boundary, leave some highlight. Rebecca, my hand might not be as steady as it appears because I've definitely made some crooked lines that I thought were straight. So you're seeing this at a distance anyway. Okay. A little bit of water to creep up next to our snowman. Okay. More moon forest. You could add salt at this point, really. It would look very cool. Let's see. Try and bring that down a bit. I mentioned chrome. Let me get some of that on my brush. You could splatter as well at this point. Okay. So that's what I've got going on right now. Gray for the lid. If we look at what I had before, a little bit darker on the corners. We still have the base to do. So for gray, I'll use that smoky gray again that I used for the hat. Thanks, T. Delgado. Thank you, Nikki. I hope you've all been enjoying the paintings. Okay, so there's the lid. Similar to the sides, I want to create a base, very thin blue line, and then darker with a little bit of a gap in between. At this point, having a sketch was a little helpful. Having a really precise sketch would have been better. Okay. So I do these every Saturday, and at what time? I do them a few times a week. So Monday, Tuesday, generally 4 p.m. Eastern. Saturday is kind of whenever I have free time. So it happened to be now, or at least it was 1:30ish. There we go. I want to throw in a little bit of gray at the bottom. So it's not quite so stark there. Thank you, Betty Lou. At this point, it's time to dress up the snowman. Yeah. Let's do a lump of coal because there's no better name for a black that belongs on a snowman. Kind of rolling my brush into a point at the end because I know I'm going to want this to be a delicate process. It's a very small surface to paint on at this point. Start here. Holding my breath a little bit. Okay, those are my little lumps of coal. Eyes, nose, then mouth. So you could see my paper is warping a little bit from the water. It's not 100% cotton, but it's a nice size and affordable, so I don't mind. You can see it's just warping a tiny bit. I don't mind. Okay. Nose. Lots of options. I'm going to go for champagne. I want him to have a metallic nose. Who doesn't love metallic carrots? Whew, that was a close one. Okay. There we go. LMZ I vote bright red metallic scarf. All right. Since that's the only vote, I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. Let me get some mouth lumps of coal in there. Got to give him a smile. Okay, that's a pretty happy guy. Okay. Bright red. What I'll do is I'll have a red, matte red, under scarf, like first layer. Look at this red here. Pretty sure that's the red I used for the elf feet. That's also Aloha watercolor. Okay. Once again, completely holding my breath for this. Okay. Okay. Now for metallic red. Hmm. I found exactly what you want. It's Rudolph. Let's get that. There we go. I know, perfect. Okay, and then it should be a little bit easier because I know exactly where it's going to go on top of this red. And I can just coat that with Rudolph. I don't have them on Facebook. I repost them to YouTube. I'm Palacios Paints there as well. So I do post the replay. All right. I think that's the perfect scarf color for him. Just want to make sure it's nice and even and super metallic. Thank you for suggesting the best color. And he needs arms, by the way. I'm thinking that he's done and he's got the best detail on him, but he needs arms. How else will the birds stand on his arms, you know? And thank you, Rustic Farm Life. I think I'll give him some metallic arms because I can. Pine cone. I gotta find my pine cone because that would be a great option there. There. Metallic arms out of pine cone. All right. This is going to be the grand finale now. I've been live way too long. I have work to do. So here we go. Okay, one more. It's got a very elaborate arm there. Thank you, LMZ Ski. I appreciate it. You've kept me company for a while now. Here we go. One more arm. Thank you, Nikki by the Sea. Thank you, everybody who's joined me during this live. I hope you really enjoyed watching these cards get made. Thank you for your questions, your comments, all the kind words. We painted quite a lot. Snowman in a mason jar. Poinsettia dipped in gold. Lots of ornament combinations of colors. All of the paint that I used was handmade. Inside the matte colors were Aloha watercolors, and then all the metallics are KMS. And thank you, May. I've been painting my nails actually quite a bit longer than painting with watercolors. We did one more extra tree together today and an extra wreath. So thank you. Yes, I did these little gingerbread inspired nails. And then that's why this hand looks so minimalist. I wasn't about to spend the same amount of time on my other hand. So thanks again, everyone. To all the new friends, hope to see you again soon. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I'll be back tomorrow to paint a few more. I am going to post it on my YouTube. I'll try and get it uploaded today, by the end of the day. This is a long live, so I really hope it saves. Sometimes TikTok doesn't save the long ones, but fingers crossed. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Bye.